The Competitions Committee of the RAC is the governing body of all British motorsport, and a very sporting collection of all British motoring bodies they are. From them is drawn the Select Committee, which runs the RAC Rally, Britain's contribution to the international calendar, and the big league for drivers who compete not directly against each other on a closed racing circuit, but against the clock and the hazards of the unknown and open road. Time spent in preparation is essential to success in any rally. The car must be brought up to the peak of its performance and held there mile after mile, day and night. And by the way, one of the major contributions which the everyday motorist owes to the rally driver is the development of better and brighter lights. However, since this is Look at Life's special rally entry, the most important piece of equipment on the Humber Super Snipe was the camera, mounted to bring you the passenger's eye view of over 2,000 miles of exacting international competition. Arrived at the scrutineering bay, the serious business of a rally itself begins. Carefully framed regulations define what modifications may and may not be made, and it's the task of the scrutineers to ensure that the car is safe, entered in its appropriate class by engine capacity, and conforms in all respects to the technical requirements. Incidentally, there's a very strong rule about advertising. Following the current fashion in international road events, the 172 competitors are sent on their way from a starting ramp into the unfriendly darkness. They know that the road ahead is a tough one. Just how tough was realized by only the extremely experienced few. Almost before the driver had time to settle down to his task, the route had led into the mountains of the Lake District. It was an appalling night. Rain, fog, flood. Endlessly winding narrow lanes on which overtaking was a major problem. Every mile of the route was specified. In the competitor's road book, every junction and turning was marked, and that means calculating distance accurately to the nearest tenth of a mile. Reports of the rally's progress quickly proved that this navigational problem and the high average speeds imposed over short distances had taken a heavy toll. By the time they reached Brough in Yorkshire, only 6 competitors had escaped penalty for lateness at controls. Scotch mist in the Highlands, and as drivers still made their weary way north, the number of penalty-free crews was down to 3. This was the control for the famous Rest and Be Thankful hill climb, but former Monte Carlo rally winner Sidney Allard had little time for either. Rallies invariably visit beauty spots, but at maximum speed, they present a very different view through the windscreen. Special tests like this timed hill climb, scored separately from the road section, are the deciders between competitors with equal lateness. And the nerve center of the rally moves with the drivers for what was to be the critical stage. The second period of darkness without rest. And up there in the Highlands, a vicious little 2-mile section to be covered in 3 minutes dead killed the hopes for a penalty-free journey of every driver except one. Inverness and an overnight stop, the first opportunity to work out exactly where it was that they went wrong. And even that former winner of this rally, Johnny Warwick, had lost 2 minutes somewhere along the way. Now, as competitors slept, the complicated task of working out the classification to date commenced. The progress of every car through each control must be checked. The recorded time of arrival must be compared with the time each car was due. Penalties are calculated. The hours of effort at the wheel so far are reduced to a matter of statistics. Meantime, surviving cars are guarded overnight. Each to their appointed minute, the crews check out from the control. Rested themselves, they now have a brief scheduled period for much-needed servicing to their overworked machinery. Just outside Inverness, the road section starts again, and from now to the finish, still 50 hours away, every minute counts. Pat Moss Moss and Anne Wisdom, with their little sprite, are battling to retain their Ladies European Touring Championship, won on points awarded in the International Rallies of the Year. But in this event, time is not the only cause for penalty. At secret controls, the RAC officials measure the sound of passing cars. Excessive noise can incur a heavy penalty, but Pat and Anne are both very quiet young ladies. Some 12 hours later, we're back at Inverness. The Volvo number 90 is driven by Sweden's Evy Rosqvist. If she can win the ladies' prize, she'll beat Pat Moss for the European title. It's a highly complex business, rallying, and seasoned club veterans like Douglas Johns know that however rugged the going, it's absolutely fatal to panic. Daylight again, business as usual for the look-at-life drivers, Ted Candy and Tom Richards. The rally cavalcade has at last turned south. The frenzied effort of the special sections is connected by many unbroken hours of quiet routine and high-speed touring. But the scenery is far from dull. A Sunbeam Alpine lives up to its name. On a rally, you have to go fast downhill as well as up. Peter Bolton invariably drives fast. The scenery remains remarkable. Extraordinarily quick, these mini-cars, don't you agree? Wolvie in the Midlands is the home of Britain's only commercial anti-skid school. And here, on a surface as slippery as you can get without a refrigerator, there's a special test. Look at Life takes a very cautious look at this little lot. And here you see one of the very rare occasions on which Pat Moss comes unstuck. But mind you, there's always the question of degree. The last 100 miles, and still the unexpected hazard. Still the struggle to keep ahead of that relentless enemy, the clock. Heavy traffic, bad light, tired eyes. No corner more welcome than the turn-in off the Maidstone Road, which leads to Brands Hatch and the end of the road section. Next day, the final tie-deciding test. To Sweden's Erik Karlsson, the only driver to complete the 2,100-mile road section without penalty, the 5-lap races round the circuit are no problem. But here's where Look at Life goes motor racing on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And even after 2,000 miles, it's easy enough to make a mistake. But someone who made less mistakes than most was cheerful little Anne Hall. She and her Ford Anglia defeated both Pat Moss and Evy Rosqvist to win the ladies' prize, though Pat retained her European title. For Erik Karlsson and his Saab, Brands Hatch was just 5 high-speed laps of honor. From circuit to circus, and for once after the reckoning comes the feast. Some people take their harp to a party. There's always a party after a big event. Erik Karlsson took his car. And from the chairman of the RAC, Mr. Wilfred Andrews, Karlsson and his British partner Stuart Turner collect the just rewards of a magnificent victory. Meantime, it's all right for some, but others still have to wrestle with the paperwork inseparable from such a highly organized affair as a modern 2,000-mile rally. The International Rally of Great Britain is over. The championships of the year are won and lost. Next round, next season, Monte Carlo.